So welcome back, Leanne. It's so good to have you. And I can't wait to discuss personal development together, which has been, I think, a calling for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. Mine started when I was working in conservation work in Africa.
Mm,
And I knew up until that time, my life had simply unfolded and evolved. I'd learned what I'd needed to learn in what chapter, and I'd pause and look around what next, and off I'd go. And I knew this time had come when I was doing my conservation work, but this was the first time I couldn't see where I was going next.
mm.
Because I couldn't see where I was going, but knew I had to go, it stopped. And what happened when I knew I had to go and didn't leave is my whole energy system and immune system collapsed.
Yeah.
Everything Africa had to offer crawled on board. I'd been 16 years in malarial areas and never had malaria once. But my first diagnosis was I had typhoid. And after a whole bunch of antibiotics that I hadn't had antibiotics in that long. They said, no, you don't, you have malaria.
Oh,
And take this instead. And then after I'd taken that, I still wasn't better. So I went into a clinic. And they in Zambia, although I was working in Ethiopia at the time, and they said, no, you've had both typhoid and malaria.
oof.
And then I was meant to be going skiing in Canada with my partner and his family. And I just said, you know what? I can't get on that plane. You go skiing with the family. I'm going to a yoga retreat in the coast of Kenya. I'll get myself better. I'll see you in a week's time.
Yes.
So my partner went to Canada. I went to Kenya. And the first night after I landed at my yoga retreat space in Diani Beach, I had woke up with a fever. And the next day they put me on a plane back to Kenya, and I ended up in Nairobi Hospital with a brilliant Italian doctor who checked everything. And I didn't have one, two, I had three strains of malaria.
Oof.
Two were I had typhoid, Helicobacter pylori, uh, worms, giardia, and I also had a lump in my left breast and a matriarchal lineage of breast cancer.
Oh my God.
So that was it. That was my cosmic, I call it my cosmic kick. Because literally I lay on my couch, in my friend's couch in Nairobi for 6 weeks and watched a hummingbird. I read a book, I can't remember a word of it. My brain didn't work, my body didn't, everything stopped.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back to Ethiopia because WHO's most unhealthiest capital city on the planet and had the award for it at the time. So I ended up back in New Zealand having breast surgery and then literally starting to go to shiatsu and Tai Chi to get my body working again. And I knew this wasn't cancer. I knew, even though the lineage was there, I knew it was just my warning. So I'd
Yes.
said to the doctor, nothing more. It's not cancer. It's just my warning that I have to leave, even
Yes.
though I don't know where I'm going.
Yes.
And that was my step out. The book Shaman Healer Sage found me on the bookshelf. I read it when I got back to Ethiopia. I was living in the lowlands and the badlands on the border of Kenya and Sudan and Omar. And as I opened this book, Shaman Healer Sage by Dr. Alberto Viodo, I knew my path was shamanic.
Mm.
And at times of drought, I started collecting river rocks and doing ceremonies on mountaintops to learn this is a Lakota ceremony for drought. And I was like, wow. And I run the clinic in the middle of 16 different ethnic groups. And I'd have 20, 30 people at my clinic every morning, some for allopathic medicine that required treatment or tropical ulcers, diseases. Others would come up to me and say, this is moving in my body, please take it out. Or I've been cursed,
Wow.
please take it off me. So this is how my soul began remembering. remembering the gifts that I had in previous lives and reminding me what I was here to do in this life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was a moment in time. What happened was we were working with the first foundational years of a 21-year project. And we got told when we handed our budget in for $3.5 million for the next year, our organization said for that amount of money, we can save much more of Africa than this park. We're going to close your project. So I got to live the experience of the illusion. I had to maintain the illusion with our amazing team while Ian went to Addis to look for another funder. And he didn't manage to. So he was coming back so we could then tell our team what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And came back, I knew too, I had to tell him I was leaving.
Oh, wow.
Leave him. This was out of Africa, out of my conservation work, out of 20 years relationship. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I had to go.
Yes. Important to listen so she doesn't dream.
But what's also important is to bring closure. So I signed up for months to honor my journey, my relationship, my team, the company, and bring everything to closure.
Yes.
Before I stepped out of Africa with my 2 bags and I stepped out of everything I knew and everything I thought I was.
Yes.
Stepped out of the stories and absolutely into the not knowing.
Yes.
And just listening and feeling my way forward. Because all I knew is I had to clean up my physical and energetic body. And I had to support myself for the period of time it would take to do that. I thought it would take 3 years, but it ended up only taking 1.5 years. That I cleaned and cleared enough that wasn't me out.
Yes.
That alignment came in. My soul guidance became very clear and my life's work came online. And I knew if I could do this, others could as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important to know that there's nothing we have to put in to this system. We simply have to unpack all that's not. Everything we've inherited from our ancestors. Yes. Everything we've inherited from religious institutions, whether we subscribe to them or not, if they were in our ancestral lineage.
Mm-hmm.
To let go of all the belief systems and vital programming and behavioral patterns that have us from being ourselves.
Yes.
That have divided us or put up walls between who we are and who we came here to be.
Yes.
And taking down all the barriers that we've put in place to protect us from love.
Absolutely.
So this process, whoever I'm supporting now for their soul embodiment work, it comes with a foundational practice of aligning the bodies, the physical body with the mental body, the emotional body, and then and it's so important that you get that foundation in place because as you walk through on your path of awakening, on your journey of self-development, you have somewhere to bring the parts of your consciousness back to. So that means really being fully present here in this physical body now and tap the innate wisdom of this body. The body is the barometer of the soul. So when we listen to the body, we're listening to our soul. For many of us, the mind is leading the earth walk because the mind's being programmed on how it should be behaving and where it should be and what it should be doing, Leave school, get a job, work really hard, get married, have children, and work for your retirement. Our lives weren't designed to be like that. at all, not on a soul level. That's how those in the powers that be wanted us to believe we were meant to live our lives.
Yes.
But we're not.
No.
So when we can defrag the mind and restore the team into our earth team, our physical, mental, emotional bodies, when we bring them into alignment, we come into the coherence of truth. And when we come into a coherent system that feels truth, what we feel as goosebumps is often truth bumps. And if we use that as the navigator, as the guide for our lives, even if it feels a bit scary at times, and we go anyway, we start to come into more coherence with the multidimensionality of our existence.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going out looking for things outside of ourselves, we start magnetizing to us the exact experiences we need.
Yes.
The most magnificent earth walk of our lives.
Absolutely. Pure bliss. Manifesting.
And it is bliss because these bodies, their natural design is one of ecstasy. and we can actually live and experience ecstasy by simply being present in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't happen on the sympathetic nervous system when we're running. We actually have to slow down, come into our parasympathetic, come into rest, relaxation, regeneration, and learn to operate. That's what these million bodies are designed to operate from.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to experience the absolute pleasure of simply being here.
Mm-hmm. So simple, yet so difficult for so many people. There's so much noise.
Yeah.
How do you manage to connect to that space?
To have a practice is really important, to have a daily practice.
Mm-hmm. Daily practice, agreed.
I'd say in this digital age as well, part of my practice is there is no digital devices on anywhere near me from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And at nighttime, my soul travels a long way over the planet and throughout the solar system. So when I wake up in the morning, I give myself a hug and a kiss, say good morning.
I do that too.
Literally begin my morning practice. Yes. Hydrate the body. You know, drinking a liter in the morning, a liter of water every day, of quality drinking water, and hydrating the body is the best thing. Yes. It hydrates, it wakes ourselves up, and it activates the large intestine so that our bowels can empty themselves.
Yeah. Which
in Chinese medicine should happen between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. And if it's not, the chances are we're dehydrated or we're holding on to shit.
Yeah. Good point.
And then I get outside on the earth. I brush my body with a soft brush, which is really good for the somatic system and awakening. And then I go about my practice. Sun gazing at sunrise helps us absorb all of the light codes and the light photons we need that energizes our auric field, our energy body. Again, maintains our own immune system and sustains our physicality, our physical body as well. And that is integrated through a Qigong practice to open all the meridians, open all the energy flows in the body. And then also I have a yoga practice to make sure that I get fully into my body, all my bodies are aligned and coherent, and then I'm available to be present in whatever my day brings.
Yes.
And with that amount of preparation for my day, you know, it doesn't matter what happens now in the world around me. I don't get blown off center. And, some big dramas can play out at times, but I'm still in my center. I'm home here in this body, wherever it happens to be on the planet at this time.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. Thank you for these wise words and these visions. Much needed, especially today. So
thank you for sharing.
My heart is like shining. So if people would like to contact you, where can they contact you?
The best place for now is earthwalk.project@gmail.com. And very soon I will be birthing a new website, platform, and community space.
Oh, great. Much needed. I will link all that in the comments. And this is part of a series with Leanne. And we will also do another series on relationships. Thank you for watching. And we wish you all a beautiful day. Sending so much love and sunshine from Gili Air.
And the ubud bubble. Thank you, Julie.
Merci.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Slowsecrets.